It wasn't until I lived in Lebanon that I saw the world of domestic workers. Well, actually, I saw it in Spain when I briefly lived there, but I forgot all about it until moving to Lebanon. I call the world of domestic work a colonial holdover, something that was seen when European powers colonized countries they controlled, hiring local women to work in their homes to clean and watch their children. This is a commonality in Middle Eastern countries of middle and upper class people, families who hire African or Southeast Asian girls, women, not girls, to clean their houses or watch their kids. And many of these workers don't get paid, and there's a few reasons for that, which that would be a whole nother podcast episode. But when I saw the horrors of how African domestic workers were treated in Lebanon, and it's part of the reason why I had to leave, because my mental health was burdened at a level that I had never been burdened in life before. Sherrynorth Misi is from Ghana. She's known as Misi Resilience by those who know her best. And she, like many women on the African continent, leave home because they need to make more money to provide for themselves and their families who are back home in their countries. She was conned by a fellow Ghanaian that she trusted, who acted like an agency, arranging her travel to Kurdistan to work for a family. But everything went extremely south after that. Sherrynorth was trafficked to Iraq, working for a former government minister, and underwent the worst horrors of what domestic workers fear, like rape, beatings, human degradation, mental attacks. And she came to a place where she didn't trust anybody. Her story could be a movie. It was her faith in God and the will to fight, to survive, that got her through. She's now back in Ghana, and Sherrynorth helps other domestic workers, educating them on the realities of being a domestic worker, and provides them with the resources they need if they have negative experiences like hers. So this is a deep, heavy podcast episode, but one that's near and dear to my heart because I saw the mistreatment of domestic workers living in the Middle East, and it angered me to my core. It really made me angry. And the stories that I saw and encountered just made me angrier. And I knew that I wanted to interview Sherrynorth to so that you could hear, because many Westerners are not even aware of this world of domestic workers and young women leaving their homes and going to other countries to work, and then they find themselves in literal hell. So brace yourself for this podcast episode, and maybe you'll find out some things you've never knew before. Sherrynorth, thank you for joining the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Ali.
And you have an interesting story of leaving your native Ghana to go work in Iraq, and probably a lot of people in the West don't understand this, because when I lived in Lebanon and I was sharing with American friends or European friends what a lot of the Nigerian or even Ghanaian women in Lebanon went through, they didn't know that women from Africa, some African countries tend to go work for Middle Eastern families. So could you just explain why you went to Iraq, why women in Africa tend to go to the Middle East as opposed to going to Europe to work for families?
Um, I would think it was. I would say that it is the opportunity that presented itself. If there is an opportunity for them to go work in Europe, I'm sure they would definitely go. And if there is an opportunity for them to go work in the Middle East, sure they would go. But the difference is that in Europe, normally the process is a bit difficult. Maybe it also involves a lot of money. But then with the Asian countries, normally we have sponsors, people who come in and then they sponsor literally everything, from your flight to uh, like all the expenses, to
Is
your
it an
visa.
agency? Is it an agency or a sponsor?
It varies. The stories come from different angles. It varies. Some go through agency, some go through sponsorship by the individual. But then there is always a middle person. Like there is always a middle person who interacts between you, the lady, and then the person you're supposed to go work for. In my case like this, I didn't go through an agency, but it was an individual who stood as an agent, but not an agency. He stood as an agent,
Okay.
and he saw how life was really difficult for me at home, and how things were really bad. And then he came telling me about there is a work opportunity in Kurdistan, and the salary was good. He even has his own sister who is there working, and she's living life, and everything was legit. I have a sponsor who is a woman in Kurdistan. She is supposed to pay for my flight and visa fee and everything for me to just get to her and work for her as a nanny. So that was the opportunity that presented itself at that time. And looking at the kind of family that I come from a have not family. We barely have enough to feed on.
Right.
And at the beginning, I was a bit skeptical about it because it was actually the first time of me hearing of the country Kurdistan. Yeah, but then he was able to convince me to let me know that, oh, I shouldn't worry. Kurdistan is not a bad place to be. We have people there who were okay. And considering the kind of family I come from, I had to definitely go out there and work. And my main purpose was to just go there, work, gather enough money, come back home, and probably get my family back into a better state.
Right.
So if the opportunity presented itself at that time was for me to go to Europe, definitely I would still go to Europe if only they were going to sponsor everything and pay for my visa and air tickets, which I know that I was never going to get even in 10 years, because how will I be able to get enough money for that? But then with the Asian countries, it's like all the less privileged family can all jump in for that opportunity, because there is not much that you are supposed to do. Even if you are supposed to pay, you get to your host family, you work, and then you pay back the agency. But we also have cases whereby they were able to let people sell their lands, borrow money to travel. So,
Wow.
like I said, the story varies.
Yeah. Yeah, you meet all kinds of situations for each girl that goes to the Middle East or Asia to work. Um,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I know. Oh, I know one lady. I know one lady. She's also in my organization. How she traveled when the man told her about the job opportunity in Kurdistan, they had to just go and sell the family land to gather enough money for her
Wow.
to pay for everything. So she literally paid for everything from her flight to her visa fee till she got to Kurdistan, hoping that her host family was coming to pick her up so that she works and pay back. But
Mhm.
then the host family never came. She was rather sent to an agency where she was being sold.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
so the story is varies. Yeah.
And I didn't realize that it wasn't until Lebanon had its explosion in 2020 and I began to help Nigerian women who were domestic workers get food boxes that the UN was sending because nobody was looking after the African women after the explosion. Everybody was concerned, it felt like only the Lebanese. And So when I started getting food boxes to these girls and I was asking their stories, I didn't realize that they had to pay their way to Lebanon to work. They had to pay the agency back. While I was editing this episode and I was listening back to the interview and the part where I said nobody was helping the African domestic workers is not accurate. What jogged my memory there was a Lebanese guy, and he had a couple of Lebanese people working with him, and he was working tirelessly to help Kenyan women, especially Kenyan women, and even Nigerian women, get back to their countries or help them in their situations. So there was so many kind-hearted Lebanese people who were also disturbed by the injustice of domestic workers and who worked 10 times harder than me aiding. And this guy, if I remember correctly, he was Canadian, Lebanese, and he had flown from Canada to spend a couple of months in Lebanon to help these domestic workers. So I just wanted to set that straight. Nigeria, but they come from very poor situations in Nigeria, and it had gotten so bad. The situation in Lebanon had gotten so bad that the Lebanese couldn't pay the girls their salaries. A lot of families were just dumping them in front of their embassies, but their families in Africa were sending them money to live. And they were supposed to be sending their families money. But okay, you get to Kurdistan, right? And then how does that go?
Um, my experience in Kurdistan was really, really awful, like very awful. I know I didn't actually spend any money during my traveling process because the agency told me that my host mom had covered up all the costs, and once I get to Kurdistan and I start working with them, I can repay back. And I felt that was fair, so it was okay with me until I got to the airport. My host mom never came there. It was someone else, a different man came to pick me up at the airport. In my mind, I thought it was my host mom that probably sent him to come and pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked me, yalla yalla, like he wants to see my passport. So I gave out my passport to him, and actually that was the last time I ever saw my passport. So I sat in his car, and he drove off to two different locations.
Wow.
And then the last location was a house. The last location was another house. So we went to two different locations, which were all houses where I thought it was my host mother's house, but it wasn't. And they gave me water. I sat there for a while. They picked me up, sent me to the next place, the same thing, and then to the third house, where I was asked to go upstairs and drop my bag. So that was where I went up, opened the door to pull my bags down, and I saw my other African sisters.
Mm-hmm.
We had people from Ghana, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Tanzania, and which other country again? Like they were all Africans in the room, even
Yeah.
Ethiopia. So I was really shocked. And at that particular point of time, I knew what I've gotten myself into. So I tried sending a message back to the man who assisted me, the agent in Ghana, that this is the situation I found myself in. My
Mm-hmm.
host mom never came for me, but it was someone else.
Mm.
And he was like, "Oh, you're already there. You better comply to whatever they say and make sure you send me money." I'm like,
Oh,
"Really? So you didn't think of my safety? You're saying I should just work and send you money?" I don't know what he did, but it's like he contacted the people and my phone was taken away from me. I
oh,
was never, yeah. So my phone was taken away from me. I never had any ways or means of reaching out to the outside world. But luckily for me, I traveled with two phones, so the other phone was hidden, and
yes.
I never brought that out since the other one was taken, and we were kept in that house. They normally come out in the night, and pick us up one after the other. They will come, you, yalla. Then they go, off they go. You are wondering where they are taking your sisters to, and probably that's the last time you ever see them. So it was like that until it got to my turn. And we were moved out of where we were to a different location where they had to cover us up and warn us not to talk. If we tried making a sin, they were going to leave us behind. So with the threats that they gave us, we were all quiet. And one, two, we were worried about the language barrier. Even if I see the immigration and I want to scream for help, how am I even going to express myself to the extent of them understanding me? Because there was a language barrier. They speak Arabic, I speak English. We don't understand each other. So we just had to comply to whatever they say until we were illegally moved from Kurdistan to Iraq, Baghdad. I know Kurdistan is also part of Iraq, but then they have their own government. They are not part of they are not part of the other Iraq. It's like they are the top, and then the Iraqi people are the down. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
even for you to move from Kurdistan to Baghdad, you have to probably have an entry something that would allow you to enter into Baghdad. And normally they just hold on and wait till when your visa has expired, because they say you are traveling to work and you don't travel with an employment visa or something. You travel with a visit visa, and then with a visit visa you are not allowed to work with a visit visa. Regardless of the country that you travel to, you are supposed to just go there for a visit and make sure you are out of that country on the specific date you stated that you want to move out. But then they will intentionally keep your documents and everything and move you from that place to a different location where you will not be able to move. So they moved me to Iraq, and my experience there was really horrible. This was how they discharged all of us, the ladies that were in my group. The woman would get to a place, she alight, meet up with a man, take money from the man, and give the lady out. She did that and drop off everyone until it got to my turn. I was sent to one military man's house in Baghdad, a place called Haftia. And yeah, so I was in that military man's house. I entered the house, there were plenty military people with guns, and I was all shaking because I was scared. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And there was no woman. I was looking out to see if I would see a woman or any children around, but then there was none. Then I guess I was the only lady there. I was asked to go into one of the rooms. I sat there for a while and I was shaking. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand. I was all sweaty until one man came in and said, are you Sherrynorth? I said, yes. Okay, this is the house you're going to be working henceforth. And the house is really, really, really big. And imagine me being the only lady in that particular house, that big house, and you have to clean all the rooms that you enter. You see guns everywhere, having your boss abusing you all the time. It was really, really hurtful. I tried to escape, but then there was no way I could escape because the security was really, really tight. There were security cameras everywhere.
So
And
it was
even if
was it a rich family or someone who worked for the government?
he was a minister, a former minister.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, he was a former minister. I took a picture of his ID, so I still have that in case of future. I know
Yeah,
definitely I'll go back to that country. They really need to pay for what they did to me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And did they physically abuse you?
all form of abuse, all form of abuse, physically, emotionally, mentally, sexually, all form of abuse. You are going to get it. I even witnessed how one woman used how did you call it, frying pan to
Oh,
hit one of my African sisters. She was a Ghanaian. She's called Mariam, and you could see this lady was off, like she was mentally not okay. Even if you ask her what is her name, it takes time for her to even recall your question and to even answer. Oh,
mm.
and there is nothing you can even do to assist your sister, because the least thing you try to do, you are also going to get beatings of your life. So you just have to watch all those things going on. There is nothing you can do. And I
Did
don't know.
they rape you as well?
Yes, of course. I was abused sexually. I was
Mm.
abused sexually. Yeah, I was.
Were women getting pregnant?
Yeah, we have incidents, like we have cases of women getting pregnant there. I think
And
in my foundation now we have a woman who has babies, and they are in Lebanon and Oman. and they
Mm.
all want to get back home to their family.
And when you were in Iraq, your
Uh-huh.
sisters who got pregnant, they allowed the Iraqi men allowed the women to have the baby, or did they force the women to get rid of the pregnancy? Did they beat them to get rid of
I
the
don't think they, I don't think they would allow you to keep the baby. No.
pregnancy?
In Iraqi, I haven't seen any case like that. I
Yeah.
don't think so. Yeah, I
In
haven't.
Lebanon, it happens a lot, and
Yeah, in Lebanon, I know because I have a case like that. And then
yeah,
in Oman too, I have a case like that. But in
and it's
Iraq,
horrible
um, yeah,
because the
it's very horrible.
Lebanese don't see the child as one of them. The child
No.
is black, and they can be so horribly racist in Lebanon, and you're not humans somehow. It feels that way. As a black person, it feels that the Lebanese don't see that child, half Kenyan, half Ghanaian, whatever it is, and Lebanese, they don't see the child as Lebanese as well. So the
Yeah,
mothers
but
go through a lot of crap because they have these children that they're not getting help from the fathers who are Lebanese.
yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But then I think that situation too also varies, because I think we have some Lebanese people who are really good. It
Yeah,
varies. Like the whole
yeah.
story varies. Yeah, we have some Lebanese people who are really good, and we have children who are mixed race, half Ghanaians, half Lebanese, and they are doing fine. So it just depends on the individual. If you are not lucky to meet a good person,
Mhm.
then it becomes a problem. Yeah. I can tell that we have good people probably in Iraq. Unfortunately, I didn't come across them. And I'm
Mhm.
sure we have good people too in Lebanon. But unfortunately, all these ladies that are facing all those challenges might not have come across those people. That's why.
Yeah. So
Mm.
when you were physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually abused, how did you cope with that? What did you do? Did you just go in a corner somewhere and cry, pray, try
I
to
have cried.
escape?
I've cried countless of times. Like I've cried new. Like if I should show you a picture of myself when I was leaving Ghana to Kurdistan, and a picture of me when I was now in Kurdistan and Baghdad, you would
Yeah.
see a vast difference. In fact, you say that they are two different people. I grew lean. I look like a mad person, like the mad person I was, because I lose almost 90% of my sanity. It was just God that was keeping me going. Um, I wasn't fed. I worked and my feet were all swollen. And one of the ladies would have to sneak in and give me ice cubes to put on my feet for the swelling to go down. I wasn't given water. I had to drink from the washroom. That was the water I had to drink to survive. I
And I bet you
worked
can't
like
drink tap water in Iraq. You're probably supposed to drink bottled water, right?
no, but I drink in the washroom. That was where and at that time I was taken to Zayuna. I don't think there is any part of Iraq. Probably if there is a part of Baghdad that I haven't been to, I don't know. But then I've been to a whole lot of places, from Baghdad to Zayuna to Kadria, Maria, and so on. So this incident happened in Zayuna. I wasn't given water, like I was not given. So I had to always drink from the washroom. Like I moved to the washroom and I open the water from the sink and it flows and I put my hands there and I try to drink the water to survive because that was the only thing I could do at that point of time.
Did you
And
get
I've tried.
sick from drinking the tap water?
As for the sickness, when you get sick, whether it's a tummy pain, headache, whatever sickness you may have, it's only one medicine they have, a painkiller. So if
Yeah.
you have a tummy ache, they will just give you a painkiller. If you are lucky, you get a painkiller. If you're not lucky, they will not even mind you. There was a time I was even bleeding and I needed sanitary pads. And I pleaded with this woman to get me sanitary pads. She never did. She didn't get me sanitary pad. So I had to tear some of my own dresses and use them as sanitary pads, you
Mm.
know. So my experience in Iraq was really, really horrible. I know it was tough for me in Ghana and my family, but then the experience I had there was totally different. Even if I'm supposed to be in Ghana and not have food to eat, I still have my peace, I still have my sanity. I
And your
wasn't
family. You still have the love
yeah,
of your
yeah, I
family.
wasn't abused in any form. I was
Yeah.
okay. It's just that we were just starving and we didn't really have a nice place to stay. We live in a small kiosk. All of us were just in there, but we were still okay.
Yeah. And there were no Iraqi women that this former minister, was he married? Did he have daughters? And did they
Yes, of
treat you
course.
well?
He's married. I took a picture of that too. He's married. I have a picture of the wife and a kiss. I think he has two daughters or so. But I didn't get the chance to see the wife. I didn't get the chance to see the kids because they never came to that house. I
Oh,
never saw them. Yeah. So for the
who lived
number of
there?
months
Just him?
pardon?
Who lived
Yes,
there?
yeah. For the number of months that I stayed, it was just him and the other military men. And then sometimes he hosts parties. Like I don't know how they call that, but he can call men to come in there,
Mm,
and then they come and they have a small gathering. Then they'll ask you, the lady, to be serving all of them.
mm,
Yeah, I know those people. I can't even recall them because they just come once in a while and then they go back. So it has just been me and the military man, and probably there was a who was the name? There was another man there, but they were all there. It was all men. So I was just in the midst of men. Men. There was no woman. I was the only woman in the midst of those people.
And
Yeah. But mhm.
yeah, go ahead on. Sorry, go ahead on.
Yeah, so what helped me was a time came when he had to travel and he didn't know what to do with me. So he had to go and drop me off in another family's house. And in that family house was when I met another Ghanaian lady. She's called Bernice. She was in that house too. And she was also young. I was older than her. I was asking why she had to come, and her story too. I'll just leave that for another day. But
Yeah.
I met her and we started talking. I was assisting her in the house with all the house chores. The lady in the house was quite okay, but the mother was really, really bad. The sons were also bad. They were not of any help. And the lady was called Sarah. We thought she was good and she would definitely understand what the whole thing is about and maybe she can assist us. But then she didn't. In the end, she didn't. She also really did us bad. But she traveled. The lady traveled, and it was just left with us and then the mother. And then one night around 9 p.m. to 10, the mother brings in a tall man and says, I should go with the man. I was like, Mama, no, I'm not going with this man. She said, Yeah, you have to go. I said, No, Mama, I'm not going. She said, You are an illegal migrant, so you have to go. And I'm like, Mommy, I know I'm an illegal migrant and I'll be safe with the police if you have to send me to the police station. So she tried um, driving off just some few meters away from me. And I thought it was a chance for me to run away. And I started running, not even knowing where to go because it was in the night. And it's like the whole world came, you know, moving in circles. Like I didn't even know where to go, but I managed to get myself to the main road. It's like a high street. And I
Yeah.
was just begging, which begging and like, trying to stop cars to assist me. And by then, it has been like almost 7 months, and I could speak a bit of the Arabic. So I pleaded with the people. Hi, Hannah Tabin, Iraqi police, please assist me. I'm looking for the Iraqi police. Some of them would stop and look at me and then drove off. Others would stop and say, Yalla, Yalla. I tried to tell them that I need help. I want to locate a Iraqi police. They didn't mind me. It was just one old woman who came to my aid and she asked me, What do I need? I'm like, Mama, I need to locate one of the Iraqi police. And she carried me in, there was a taxi. She stopped and I sat in the taxi and she drove off. We got to the location. It was quite not far though, but she stood afar and pointed one house to me and told me that that was the Iraqi police so I can go. I thanked her and then entered into the police station, narrated my story to them, hoping that they were going to assist me. And then they said, okay, don't worry, we'll take you to the US Embassy. When you get there, then hopefully they may be able to help you. So I was in the car heading to the US Embassy with one of the policemen. So on the main Zayuna to Baghdad highway, there was a call because we were in Zayuna and Ameria, and we have to join the Zayuna road before we can get to Baghdad, where the U.S. embassy is. It's just closer. It's not far from Hartia, also not far from the airport.
Hmm.
So we were going, and then the policeman had a call, and as soon as he had a call, he made a U-turn. And I'm like, please, why are you making a U-turn? He says, Marco Mushkila. meaning there is no problem. He lied.
Mm.
Not knowing, he took me back to the police station, and there was the family I was trying to run away from.
Oh.
I pleaded with the police. I cried. All my eyes were swollen. I pleaded with the police to keep me behind bars, not
Mm.
to give me out to the family. I would be okay if they keep me behind bars and probably help will come. They didn't listen to me, no matter how I pleaded,
Mm.
and they still gave me back to the family. And you can imagine what happened next. It was really, really awful. By then, I would say that I was 99% off. Like in fact, I was already mad. But before all this, anytime that I get the least opportunity to connect my other phone to the Wi-Fi, I send emails to entities, any organization that will come in my mind, Seed Kurdistan, Arabic Public Affairs, any. I just go online and search for the Criminal Investigation Department of Ghana, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, even to the neighboring countries, Iran. I even forward some of my mails to VSF Global. In fact, I was just sending the mails to any name that would just come in mind, and some of them reverted and said I'm out of their jurisdiction. They can't help me. I should contact local authorities. And these local authorities are the one that I ran to when I pleaded with them to keep me behind bars. And they still gave me out to the family.
Mm.
So what should I do? So I lost hope. I thought I was even going to die there. And one day I was there and I received,
When you
I don't
went
even
back,
know.
well, what, okay, so when the family picked you up and you obviously went back to the house, how long were you
Yeah.
with them and what happened to you?
Um, I would say I was there for some time. I can't really tell the number of days I spent there, but
Mhm.
I was there. I was locked up. All internet access was off. Like I was shattered. In fact, I just saw myself as a dead person. I wasn't myself. I wasn't myself. If I should show you a picture of me, I look like a mad woman, a complete mad woman, and have cried and cried and cried. I was beaten. In fact, they took everything away from me. They took my clothes. Those
Mm.
clothes, I worked hard, and some of them would say, "Oh, Sherry is really hard working." They gave me the clothes. They took everything away from me. I was left with just one dress, the one I was wearing, and that was it. That was it. I'd grown really lean because of the abuse and how mad they were. I was trying to run away and all that. It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
And then how did
Yeah.
you leave?
So one day, I don't know what, pardon?
How did you leave?
Yeah, so one day I was there and I don't know how it happened. It was like a miracle. I felt my phone was always in my panties. So I went to the washroom, and when I checked, I received a mail. I didn't know that happened, but I saw the mail, and it stated it was from one woman called Victoria Klimova. She's from the IOM, and she said she received my mail. It was forwarded to them by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and
Hmm.
she wanted to know how I'm doing, so that and how they wanted to access my case and see how they can help me come back home. And I think that was the day that I smiled after months, because I was like, finally, help was coming. So I
Yeah.
communicated with the woman with my number and everything, my WhatsApp, because I didn't have a Iraqi number, but my WhatsApp was still working. So, and I sent them my location, and she forwarded one woman number to me. She's called Mana. She is also she's an IOM official in Iraq. So
Hmm.
she contacted me and told me, and she kept me posted on everything when she went to see a judge, when she goes to see the judge to talk about my case. And we finally arrived on the day that they were supposed to come and get me out of the house. And that day I was just waiting, looking at the gates, checking every single sound I hear. I just rush to check if they are the ones coming for me. From morning till 6 p.m., this woman never came. 7 p.m., this woman never came.
Mm.
8 p.m., this official never came. Around 10, 11,
Hmm.
the woman came inside. The family came inside. I was like, Sherry, yalla, yalla, yalla. I was like, Mama, what is it? Fast, fast, fast. Let's go, let's go. I'm like, Mama, why are you taking me to? And then they off the Wi-Fi again. They off the internet access again. They were just thinking of, I don't know. I felt there was a foul play. Someone might have tipped the family off that this was what was coming to happen. So they moved me out of the house. They didn't even use the normal route that they normally do. They used a different route and drove for a very long distance. Finally arrived in one house took me upstairs and locked me up in one of the rooms. It was so cold. I was asked to stay there. I was so shaken because now that I've moved, even though I was sharing my live location with that internet access, when I moved, I don't have data. I'm
Yeah.
not able to share my live location again. What if the woman was coming? How would she get me? All these things were running through my head. And then around 12 to 1 a.m., a military man comes in and he says, "Hi, my name is Blah." I've forgotten his name, but he says he was sent by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to come and get me. Oh, then and I was sure that, oh my God, there was a tip off. I'm like, how does this military man knew I sent a message to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Then he was like, okay, so I was asked to come and get you. Is it true you wanted to leave? I'm like, sir, please, if you're actually from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I plead with you to actually take me to their office. I'm sure the ministry should have an office. I can only talk when we get to the office. Then he said, okay, let's go. He carried me and took me in his car, drove a very long distance. I didn't know where he was going. He finally ended up in one house, locked me up in one room, abused me badly,
Mm.
abused me badly. I think the only mistake I made was not to take a picture of this man because but I still know who can get him because the family who gave me out should know this military man because
Yeah.
they actually called him to come and get me. So the
Mm.
next morning around 10 a.m., he picked me up in the car again. By then, I looked so wretched. I looked so torn and tattered, like I wasn't really myself. And then he said he's still taking me to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I knew he was lying. He had
Yeah.
a call. And when he spoke, he was like, in 3 minutes, we'll be there in Arabic. He said it in Arabic that in 3 minutes, I'll be bringing her. And I heard the voice on the phone. It sounded familiar. The voice sounded like the old mean woman, the one who used the front point to hit one of my Ghanaian sisters' head. And I
Mm.
know that no, once I get to that woman, then I'm dead. I'm not making it alive. So it got to a point that I like, nah, this is the matter of life and death. I had to fight.
Yeah.
So we were driving steering wheel, and then the car was moving to the left and moving to the right. And he was forcing me to stop. I was also not stopping. So he had no choice than to step on the brakes. So when he stepped on the brakes and I checked on my right hand, they've written unlock button. So I just pressed on the unlock button and then the car opened and I just jumped out of
Wow.
the car. And I thank God that it was not in the night. It was not in the night because if it was in the night, I was a dead person. But it
Mm.
was in during the day around 10 a.m. in the morning to 11. People were out there. He was wearing his military uniform. He couldn't run out of the car to chase me. He was just in the car and I just started running. And he
Yeah.
didn't try chasing me. I don't know why he didn't chase me, but I believe it's because it was daytime. People would see what would happen. So he just stayed back and I just started running, not knowing where to go because I was all confused. I didn't even know who to believe anymore. I was afraid to contact the IOM official because I felt like you were supposed to come and get me, but you didn't come and the family took me to here. Probably she might have tipped up the family. So I didn't trust the woman too. I was just confused. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So there was a taxi. I stopped a taxi and pleaded with the taxi driver to send me to the US embassy because that was the first thing that came in mind. Because I remember the last time I went to the police station, they wanted to take me to the US embassy to seek for help. So I pleaded with the policeman to take the taxi driver to take me to the US embassy. And on our way going, I had a panic attack. I was afraid. I felt like maybe they were still chasing me. So I told the driver to stop, and he stopped. I alighted, walked for some few minutes, and then pick another car, pleaded with that driver. So it was actually the second taxi that took me to the US embassy. When I got there, the security was really, really tight. I didn't even know how to enter. But one kind man at the security checkpoint asked me what my problem was. And I narrated my story to him, and he felt so, 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 so sad for me. He was like, don't worry, I'll help you. Can you give us the contact number of the IOM official who was supposed to help you? We want her to come. We'll check her documents and everything to see if she's actually an IOM official before we hand you over to her. Well, I didn't have any choice. I did that and I waited for like 2 hours. The woman came back and then the man interrogated him. She showed her ID and everything. And finally, the man said he's confirmed that the lady is actually with the IM official and I'll be safe with her. Regardless, I was still not okay because I didn't trust her, but I was really, really still not okay. And I didn't have a choice. So I still left with this woman and she told me that she was taking me to a shelter where I'll be safe at the shelter. And then they'll start working on my repatriation documents for me to come back home. As I didn't have my passport with me, so I would
Hmm.
have to travel with a laissez-passer.
What
So
happened? Why didn't she come get you that night that you thought she was coming?
I didn't know why she didn't come get me. I'm sure she tipped the family off, and they didn't know that I was going to escape.
Mm.
She thought after tipping the family off and then moving me from the house and giving me to the military man would definitely move me back to the bad woman's house, the wicked woman's house. That she's called Abdullah. So the wicked woman will move me to Abdullah's house, and that will be the end of my story. And with that house, as soon as I get to the house, there's no way that I'll be able to communicate with the outside world. They will
Yeah.
strip me naked, make sure they get everything. If my phone was in my panty, they will take it off. That woman is really, really mean. Like she's really mean, like very mean.
The the
She
uh,
doesn't have the heart.
the IOM woman?
No,
Oh,
no, the other woman. Yeah, the
oh,
Abdullah
right.
woman.
Right.
Yeah. So if the IOM woman knew that her tip off wouldn't work, I didn't think she would have done that.
Right. Yeah, I think she didn't mean
Mm.
to tip them off in a negative way.
Um, I think she means one thing I've also noticed is that there is a huge partiality thing going on there when you are an African, and even if your case is good, they will still make you look like your case is bad.
Mm. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they will still make it look like your case is bad, like they support their own. The IOM woman definitely knew my story and knew what I was going through, whereby she could have just assisted me come there with the police to get me out of the house and I go back home.
Was
But
she
then she,
Iraqi or
yeah, she
you're
was Iraqi.
oh,
She
okay.
was
That's it. I thought
Iraqi.
she was
That is why.
Western.
No, she's not. She's Iraqi. That's why I'm advocating for all those organizations, all those international organizations. If they have, maybe if they have someone working in, let's say, maybe in Iraq, they should have an African personnel there.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
shouldn't always be the Iraqis because there is a huge partiality going on, not only on my case. A whole lot of my African sisters have experienced all that. You could see that the lady didn't do anything, but they can frame this person up and then
Yes.
support their own. Yes, and that was what happened to me. I know that the lady tipped the family off. That is why they turned off their Wi-Fi and moved me out of the house. But she didn't know that I could escape.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't escape and they managed to take me to Abdella's house, definitely she would reach out to the Ghanaian IOM and say that, oh, Sherrynorth ran away and we don't know where she went to. She has escaped because they were going to take my phone and make sure they delete everything. They did that to me before, so I know. They will just
Yeah.
delete everything, every contact that you have on your phone, they will delete it. And there is no way you could reach out to anyone for help. She didn't know it was going to turn out that way. But then God being so good, I was able to escape. I was
Yeah.
able to escape. And she still came and I still didn't believe her. I was with her. I don't feel fine. She takes me to the shelter. I feel I'm not safe at the shelter. But then I see other women at the shelter who are Africans and they are all awaiting repatriation. And I feel a bit calm. But whenever she comes to the shelter to pick me up to the hospital for medical checkups, or she takes me to the immigration office for me to proceed with my documentation, I always have panic attacks, severe panic attacks on the road.
Yeah.
I shake, I cry, like I'm not okay.
Yes.
Until I see that, okay, she has finally taken me to the immigration office, then I know I'm safe. So
Yes.
whenever she's picking me up, I always have a panic attack. And I make sure that whenever she picks me up from the shelter, I send a message to the woman in Ghana and tell her that Mana has come for me at the shelter. She said she's taking me to the hospital for my medical checkup. But then I'm still not okay, even though I've told the woman about it for her to know my whereabouts in case if you don't hear anything from me. The last message I sent was that I was with Mana, should anything happen. And I'm still in the car going with Mana. Then I have severe panic attacks. Like I'm not okay. Like my heart pants so heavily because I'm not sure they are capable of anything. I lost trust in everyone until I see myself at the hospital. Then I become a bit relaxed, like, okay, so it's true she was bringing me to the hospital. I was never safe there. I was never safe one bit. And
I
unfortunately, too,
can
on the first of
imagine that you went through a lot of trauma. And it is true that, like in Lebanon, for example, when a lot of the Lebanese were dumping their Kenyan workers at the embassy because the explosion happened and the Lebanese were going through their own financial crisis and people were losing jobs. Um,
Yeah.
and they were dumping them at the Kenyan embassy. I was trying to get help, like, why isn't Kenya, the diplomatic corps, the foreign service of Kenya, not working to get these girls back? And then I learned that the ambassador for Kenya in Lebanon was a Lebanese man. It wasn't a Kenyan man. So they have something called, I forget the term, but Kenya did not put somebody from their foreign ministry, a Kenyan, an African Kenyan, in Lebanon at the Kenyan embassy. They hired a Lebanese person to take that role as ambassador.
No. And
And
that wouldn't help.
it's
And
not
that wouldn't help
because
at
how can
all.
you expect a Lebanese person to care
Mhm.
about Kenyan people?
No, they won't.
They won't. They're
No.
already racist.
Mm,
Let me before I get in trouble with Lebanese people. There are some really good-hearted Lebanese people who hate racism and who hate
yeah, you're
how
right. You're
Africans are
right.
being treated. But overall, the society can be really vicious to Africans, to Black people in Lebanon, and you can't expect a Lebanese person to care about Kenyans.
Oh,
It's what you're
in
saying.
one of, sorry to say this, in one of the houses that I was working in, the woman's children, the guy calls me, he calls me a raccoon.
Oh
He says,
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah, he says I'm a raccoon.
And
But
I
then
don't
I was,
understand how Iraqis or Lebanese or Asian people, Arab people can be racist against Black people, against African people.
on the 1st of October, there was a huge fight between the civilians and then the government, and then there were a lot of shootings out there when we were in the shelter. You could hear a whole lot of gunshots, and you could hear the massive shake at the gate as if the people want to enter into the shelter, and there was road closure, roadblocks. We couldn't go anywhere. And I was also not able, like Mana will send me a message, she can't come because of the roadblock. There's a serious fight going there. And whenever we hear the gunshot, some of us will have to run. Like we go and hide under our beds and close our ears. And then some of them will be saying, Yalla, Yalla. It was so horrifying. Oh my God. Since I didn't die in Iraq, I don't think I'll die again.
Yeah, it's and okay, so then you got through the medical process, the getting your temporary passport, and I guess you went
It
back.
was so difficult. It was so difficult because of the confusion between the civilians and the government, the
Mm,
commotion out there. All roads were blocked. So it got to a point that even if I was required to go to the immigration office, I couldn't go because there was roadblocks, there were killings, and you could see it on the internet that people are dying during this demonstration and all that. The Mana would say she's not able to come pick me. On the day that she managed to come and pick me to the immigration office, I was just praying. I have really prayed. In fact, at that shelter, I don't think I slept. I pray like crazy, like God has to do something. I have to go back. I have to go back home and tell my story. I have to go back home alive and use my story as a tool
yeah.
to yeah. It was really really bad. Like it was really really bad. But then the day she took me to the immigration office, I knew she would definitely bring me back to the shelter because there was nothing that shows that I was traveling. And I think God listened to my prayer. We got there, they spoke with the men there, and I don't know what was going on. All of a sudden, the man said, "Hi, Sherry, you are not going back." Then they sent one of the IOM officials to go back to the shelter and bring my luggage. That was how it happened, how I came back home. It was very surprising. It was a miracle. I go to the immigration office not having any idea that I was traveling. I got there and I did the miracle thing, like telling the man, Sherry is going home today. You go to the shelter, bring Sherrynorth back, and then they go to the shelter, bring my bag. And then the military man is that because of the fight out there, because of the commotion, we would have to give you an escort to the airport because you can't travel alone. And then there is another Ghanaian lady who was in prison for 4 months, and she joined me. And we sat in the car. The military people gave us an escort. They drove us in their military van from the immigration office to the airport, and then they drop us there. Even so, I was still not satisfied. I believe I was like, before I would know that I'm safe is when I'm on the plane up there and I'm up in the sky. Then I know they cannot harm me. But if I'm still here and my leg is tapping, like stepping on the grounds of Iraq, I am still
Yeah.
not safe. So I was just there. And the other lady know that I was having severe anxiety and panic attacks. So she tries to calm me down. Don't worry, you'll be fine. And God being so good, the time came and I was up in the skies and I bid farewell to Iraq and I came
Yeah.
back to Ghana. I arrived in Ghana. I still felt like I was in Iraq. It took time for me to process that, oh no, I am actually back in Ghana. I was in Ghana, but I felt like I was still in Iraq for some time. And
When
sometimes
was this? What year was this?
this was around 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. So it took time. Sometimes they ask me questions before I can even answer. It takes time for me to even process everything and be able to answer. Like it was really, really, really crazy. And aside that too, there's something I need to say. We have other Ghanaian ladies who are still in Iraq
Mhm.
right now in prisons. They don't even remember their passport numbers because before they can even assist you, you need to know your passport number. But most of these ladies travel, they don't have their passport number in mind. And some of them have been in prison for like a year. Some of them have been there like 2 years. There is a lady who returned somewhere I think last year or so. She has been there for literally 2 years in prison behind bars. So I'm really using this medium to really advocate and raise awareness on these issues. Some of the things that we don't really take note of, it's high time these ladies take note of. We may say that don't travel to the Asian country, don't travel to the Middle East. We
Yes.
can't stop everyone from traveling, right? But then we just try to advocate that if you are traveling, make sure you travel through the right channel. And when you
Yeah.
travel through the right channel and there is a chance of you coming back, you can come back home in full peace. And
Yeah.
make sure when you're traveling, you do other researches. Find out if the country that you're going, if there is an embassy of your country in that particular place where you're going. In Iraq, like this, there was no Ghanaian embassy. There was no Ghana embassy there. So there was no one to help. Not even a consulate can help me because there was none there. I didn't know about all this. It was after all these incidents before I got to find out. Now, if I want to travel to a country, I would like to travel to a country where there wouldn't be any language barrier and I'll be able to express myself. You may be lucky. Well, you may not be lucky to get someone who would understand you and someone who you can really express yourself to for the person to get what you're saying. So I think it would be best to just avoid countries that you travel to when you don't speak the same language. To
Yeah.
find out that if there is a consulate or any embassy there, then that one too you are good to go. In case of anything, you just run there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also saying that for international organizations, for them to have a representative of each country in that particular country working. So in Iraqi like this, if they had an African there, I think it would be better because there is a whole lot of partiality going on and it's still going on till date.
Oh,
It's
of
still going
course.
till date. Not only in Iraq, even in Jordan, there is a lady who had been in Jordan for like a year. She worked so hard, they refused to pay her money. She sent these people to court, and she even have the receipt and the ID for the law firm. And this law firm says they are supporting and assisting migrant workers. They are labor force kind of firm that assists those domestic workers. And she goes to them crying for help, like, my boss is not paying my salary, please assist me. And then they say, you don't worry, just go back to your country, and once you get to your country, we will send you your money. And because
Hmm.
she's so naive, she actually came back to Ghana. And as I speak with you till now, she has not even received 10 penny from them. And she called them and said, please, I have not heard from you people, you've not sent me my money. And they are still not minding her. But imagine if there was an African representative in Jordan who would assess the situation and see that, oh, okay, this girl was actually telling the truth, and her boss really needs to pay for her service because she has worked in that house for like a year. This man demands to give this girl money. She had plans before traveling. She wanted to travel, get some money. She loves farming, right? So she wanted to just travel, work hard, get this money, come back, invest in her farming, get herself a better place to lay her head. This was
Yeah.
all she ever wanted. But then this man took advantage of her, didn't give her her money. She worked 1 year, all is wasted. She comes back to Ghana with nothing. And now, if she show you where she's sleeping, it's just an eyesore. Like she wakes up with so many infections on her skin because where she's sleeping is not good. And she even feels like committing suicide because what am I supposed to do? I spent one whole year in this country and I came back. Family is laughing at her. Friends are laughing at her. They will say, okay, you traveled outside. What did you bring? You brought nothing. And you have nothing to say. Look at the kind of emotional state that you've put this innocent girl who was just trying to survive. We are
Yeah.
all trying to survive. So it's really not nice how they treat us. We are not criminals. Like I said in my Mother Africa song, I have an advocacy song titled Mother Africa. We are not criminals. We are just trying to survive. We are not the bad ones. The agencies and whichever people sent us there never told us the truth that we were being sold. I was being sold for $6,000. I was
Okay,
being sold.
that's what I wanted to ask you. That guy in Ghana who told you his sister was in Kurdistan that you could trust going, he's part of the slave system too, the trafficking system.
He is fat. Yes, he sold me out. And I know that normally this is how it works. If you're able to get an African lady for the Arabs, they give you the agents down in Ghana money, and once you get to the Arab people in their country, then they multiply their money. Maybe if they give the guy like maybe $1,000 on your head, then when you come there, they have to sell you like maybe $6,000 to cover up the money they gave the agents. So we have people that they've specifically designed to be picking up those girls for them. Okay, can you get me 10 girls from Ghana to come and work as this here? And then you say, yes, I can get you. Okay, I'm going to give you each girl $200. And then they multiply that and give you the money and you make sure you send the girls there. And when you send the girls there, they are going to be sold to whichever family they go to. So if you are lucky and the family that comes for you is God fearing and is very kind, oh, then you are good to go because we have stories. Some ladies go and they are good, they meet good families and they take very good care of them. But then if you are not the lucky one and then you get there and the family that comes to get you and say, hey, you are a shagala, you are a slave, you are supposed to work for me, you have to do whatever I say, then you don't have a choice. You don't
Mm.
have a choice. You're already there. And Ghana is not like it's just at the back of the house that you can just run to. No. Where would we even run to?
It's terrible, Black people selling out Black people, their own people. Okay, so I've got two last questions. What are you
Yes, please.
doing now with your
Um,
life? You're in university, right? You're studying.
Yes, I really do have a long story to share, but then let me just summarize it. I really didn't get a chance to go to school back then, even though I tried because of the kind of family I came from. I came from a very abusive home. I never had a very loving upbringing. My experience as a child was really, really horrible, and I would say that is also a story for another day.
Yeah.
But when I got back, I was not stable mentally. But regardless, I still wanted to do something to help Mother Nature. I still wanted to do something to help my fellow women, whether in West Africa, East Africa, in fact, across the world. I wanted to do something. So I started advocating on irregular migration and its consequences. And I also started advocating on mental health awareness in context of human trafficking. As I'm talking with you, I'm struggling with severe post-traumatic stress disorder.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really bad, and I'm really fighting to gain myself, rebuild my life again.
Mm-hmm.
I also have an organization named Sherrynorth Real Life Foundation, and it's a survivor-led organization, of course. And I help other survivors. And my focus is not only on survivors alone. Like my focus is on street kids. My focus is on single mothers. My focus is on streetism children. I don't know if I did mention that. Did I mention that? And orphans. Yes, and
Right.
orphans. Why? Because I find myself in all those places. I have been a single mother. I have been on the streets. I have been an orphan because I never got the love and support that I needed, or a child was supposed to get from his or her parents. I never got that. So I see myself as an orphan too. I'm a survivor. And all these people are vulnerable to trafficking. If life is really difficult for this case and they are on the streets, anyone who comes to them with a traveling opportunity, they would definitely grab that because they all want to survive. So I stand and represent all these people. Yes, and I want to assist them the little way I can. I always do that. And at the moment I'm in school, God being so good, I was able to make it back in school after 16 long good years of wanting to go to school.
Wow.
God made it possible this year. Yeah, it has been my long dream, like wanting to go back to school. And it took me 16 good years to finally step my feet in school again. That day, I really cried, like, God has been good. So I'm studying strategic communication because I want to be the voice to the voiceless.
Wow.
And yes, it hasn't been easy. Battling with PTSD, having to go to school, um, leading the organization, support. I want them to look at me and say, if Sherrynorth can do it, they can also do it, regardless of the hindrance,
Yeah.
regardless of the obstacles that they are going to face. I know it will not be easy. It is not easy, I would say, but we are always fighting through. Just like my slogan says, real life with Misi. We have faced it and we have lived it and we would survive it.
Wow. I mean, that's inspiring that you want to give back, that yes, you have your traumas and the pains that you're trying to heal from, but you've not
Mhm.
become bitter and hateful to Iraqi
No,
people, to
not,
Asian Arab people, but
not
you,
at all.
yeah, that you have a heart to give. How do you, and you're a Christian, how are you able to forgive the family you worked for, the guy in Ghana who trafficked you to Kurdistan? How do you forgive with the love of Christ?
If I understood the question was, okay, let me just tell you how I think God created me. I have a very resilient spirit and I easily let go of things. Like laughter has become my main weapon. I laugh a lot
Mm-hmm.
and I really laugh out loud. If you don't know me and I stand beside you and I laugh, you might shake because you were not expecting that laughter from me. And it has been my power. It has been something that no one has ever been able to take away from me, regardless of all forms of abuse that I went through, all sort of treatments, the neglection and everything. My laughter was my power. I let go of things easily. I let go and I keep on pushing, trying to make myself better. If I had to keep those things in my heart, I don't think I would have been able to come up with the Sharing Not Real Life Foundation or to even think of assisting other people because my focus would just be on revenge, revenge, revenge. No, but my focus is to put laughter on other people's faces. If regardless of how tough it is, I always want to see people smile, and that is what keeps me going. I do not hold grudge with anybody. I do
Mm-hmm.
not hold grudge with anybody, yeah, at all. And I do believe that, who knows, I might even have friends from Iraq and I might even have friends from Lebanon. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, I would definitely have friends across the world.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's inspiring. Your ability to be resilient and forgive. I mean, I that touches my heart. There's something I can learn from that. And may God just continue to bless you in the work that you're doing. He's certainly not done with you and using you to help people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and your need right now, you need a laptop, right?
Yes, I want to continue with the advocating. I don't want to stop because it is where I found my passion. It is where I found my drive. But then at the moment, I'm lacking some things.
Yeah.
I needed a laptop. I needed an interviewing mic and a camera where I can go out on the field and interview all those amazing women out there, not just survivors alone. We have women who are here, who are in internal, like they are here, they've never traveled out, but they also face a different form of challenge in life, and they are striving to make it. And I feel like when these women shared their story on how they were able to survive, it would also project something positive to the other people. They'll know that, okay, someone is going through this and she's making it. That means I can make it. If this particular lady had to go through all those forms of abuse internally and she is making it, and today she is a farmer, or today she is a what word should I even use? Like she's really doing well. Another person can learn from that.
Yeah.
So if I get those items, I'll be very, very happy, and it's going to be a plus, and not just only to me, but to the whole Real Life Foundation team.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's an important need that you have is a laptop, a mic, and even a mobile phone.
Yes, the one I'm using is actually a mess.
Yes, but it's amazing how God is still blessing you with it with it being a mess
Yes, of course. Because
until
that is
he
what I'm using for
provides.
this interview too.
Yes,
And that is
yes.
what didn't disappoint me today by going off. God is good.
Praise God. I pray that through this podcast, somebody is going to be able to give you a laptop and a phone,
Oh,
all the
I'll
things
be
that you
so
need.
happy. I'll be so happy and I'll be so grateful and thankful to that person.
Yeah. God knows your need and he's very, very rich. And
Yeah,
he knows how to get you what you need.
I
So,
pray so. Pray so. And one of my major challenge now is actually about my school too.
yeah.
Um, yeah, my school. I really, really want to go to school, and I don't want anything to stop me from going to school because I feel like there are things that I can do, but because of my lack of education, I'm limited to those things. And
Yeah.
now my the main challenge now is my fees, my
Yeah.
tuition fee for the school. And I'm
Yeah.
just praying that God will make a miracle, like something possible, like something positive. A miracle will just happen, and someone will say, "Hi, Sherry, I can assist you with your tuition fee," and oh my God, because I really
And
don't
how
want to
much
stop.
are the a semester fees?
I pay 3,000 per semester.
US dollars?
Three, three, no, 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 no. In dollars will be $300 per semester,
Oh
if
wow.
I'm not mistaken.
Okay, that's not a lot.
Yeah.
And how many semesters would does it take for you to get the degree? How many
Okay,
semesters?
so we have maximum is 12 weeks. Hey, sorry, 12 semesters. Sorry. 12,
Okay.
yeah, but the minimum is 8.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm trying so hard to not go for any vacation classes. Summer, I will just continue studying so that I can compress it and probably within 2.5 years I should be done.
Okay. So
Yeah.
anywhere between 8 to 12 semesters at
Yes, please.
300 US dollars per semester.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, we trust that God's going to meet that need for you in Jesus' name and that you'll get
Amen.
what you need. But
Amen.
you've got a powerful story, and I'm just amazed at how God got you through each one of those horrible situations.
It
Uh,
hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy, Ali. It hasn't. Ju- Just recently, before I even contacted you,
mhm.
with my traumatic stress disorder, sometimes I walk and I feel like I'm a spirit walking.
Yeah,
I I have a whole lot of flashbacks. I go to sleep and I feel like I'm going to die. I'm not waking up the next day. And
yeah,
I pray my last prayer. I can be talking to someone. The person will say, "Hi, Sherrynorth, how are you?" And I respond, "I'm fine." But in my head, I feel like it's the last time I'm talking to this person. I'm not seeing the person again.
mhm,
So it's just by God's grace. It's God's grace that keeps me moving. I can even walk to
amen.
someone and say, "Can you see me?" And then the person says, "Yes, I can see you." Sometimes I have to pinch myself very hard just to feel the pain for me to believe in my mind that I'm still alive, I am not dead. I guess it is all the things I went through from childhood
Yeah,
to my migration experience that has really piled up and it's really affecting me. But thanks to God and thanks to you, and I'm hoping I heal. I'm hoping I heal and I can be myself again without all those funny thoughts. It hasn't really been easy. It hasn't been easy at all. And what makes me happy is what I love to do. So probably when I'm on the field, interviewing those women, sharing our stories together, it will also help me a lot because that would get me busy and probably I will not be idle and be thinking of those things in my head. Maybe when I get myself busy, like getting myself fully involved in the things that I love to do most, maybe that one too would also help me.
yeah, for sure. God isn't done with you yet, and your best days are yet to come. So, it's going to be amazing to see where God takes you ultimately. Um, I-
Amen.
and I just pray for all the other African girls who are still caught in it's the kafala system. Um,
Mm.
that you have to give up your passport, and then if you get matched with a monster of a family, um,
Mhm.
I just keep them in prayer. There's a lot of suffering happening in the world, and God sees it all, and his heart breaks at every suffering situation, every injustice. And he's looking for the church to
Mm.
partner with him, for believers to partner with him and to be his mouth and to be his arms and his legs and to make things change for people. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, even at the moment I have about 100+ women. They are all from Sierra Leone, and
Hmm.
they are currently in Oman and Lebanon. And I have video evidence, audio evidence, picture evidence of those women, and their situation is really, really, really bad. And they are just crying and wailing that they want to go back home to Mama Salo. They just need help. Some of them would say, Mama, we just need tickets to go back home. They are suffering where
Yeah.
they sleep, the food they eat, the kind of abuse they go through. Some are even forced to take in hard drugs to enable them work, and then
Mm.
they end up having bleeding nose. I have video evidence of that. I've actually created a group named the Real Life Empowering Program where I've put all those women together, and all they want is to go back home. So. I've tried reaching out to some organizations to see if they can assist this woman to go back home. I'll be very happy the day that happens because they
Yeah.
just want to go back home alive. There have been instances where I talked with one of them today, and she cries and say, "Please, Missy, my other name is Misi Resilience." So she said, "Missy, please, I want to go home. I don't want to die in this country." And I have goosebumps all over. I try to encourage this lady that I have been through the same thing, that she has to hold on. She shouldn't give up. But unfortunately, this lady gave up. The next day I heard she died in the group. It was really, really heartbreaking for me. It was really devastating. I'm
Mm.
still searching, I'm still pleading for other organizations out there, any entities, whether the IOM, I don't know if they've received my message or not yet. Um, Anyone who can assist those women to go back home safe and sound to their families, I'll be very, very happy. Majority of those women travel to those countries, leaving their children behind, leaving their families behind, just because they want to just go and struggle to support home. That is all. That has been the what's the word? The whole thing. Like when you ask them why do you leave, they say I leave because I want to support my family with what to eat, where to sleep. That
Yeah.
is the main thing. That is the main reason those ladies, including myself, that is the reason we traveled out to those countries. And it's never in our mind that we are going to die there. No, we want to go make it and come back home. Wouldn't it be nice if we travel to the Arab countries and we are being treated fairly with
Oh, how
fair
nice
salary,
that would be. How nice.
having say it again,
Yeah.
having access to medical health when we are having headache, and everything is so cool, and then we receive our salary nicely, and we ask them, Mama, can you send my salary to the house for me? And they are able to do it with ease, and we don't struggle. How nice would this be?
Yeah.
We need to change the narrative. That is how it's supposed to be. We are just trying to survive. So they should know that when we come into their country, we are not bad people. We are just women, and we are just trying to survive. So they should have compassion on us.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thank you too, Ali. Thank you. It was nice, nice, nice talking to you.
It really
I
was.
hope that you enjoyed this podcast episode and that you have found a soulful connection to the conversation. God bless you, and until the next episode, go bless somebody else.